I wrote this for everyone that wonders why I always dress in black, why you never see me wearing bright colors on my back, and why does my appearance always have a somber tone, where there's really good reasons for what I have on. See, I wear black to rep the poor, the oppressed and the beaten down, those living in the hopeless, hungry, poverty-stricken parts of town. And I wear black for every prisoner that has long paid for their crimes, but are still locked in cages because they're victims of these times. And I wear black to mourn for all those that I've loved and lost, for every inmate that's been crucified since Christ on the cross. And I wear black for the forgotten, those left wandering the streets with no place to rest their heads at and no food to eat. And I wear black for every innocent child that's been abandoned and abused, for everyone that's ever suffered, whites, blacks, Latinos, and Jews. And I wear black for every son and daughter whose blood has been spilled, for every one of my ancestors that Christopher Columbus killed. And I wear black for those that have never read or listened to the words that Jesus said, for those that know the truth but choose to live a lie instead, thinking they all right with they dope whips and they chip stack. Well, I wear black to remind us all of the ones that been held back. I'm the spick in black, and I represent the struggle, the have-nots, the haven't-gots, and all those that were born to hustle. I represent everyone locked up in a cell. Yeah, I'm the advocate for anybody living this hell. The first one I change up when I do it in schools, I call myself the kid in black. But when I do it to adults, I call myself the spick in black. And the reason why I use that derogatory term is because that term there used to have power over me. It used to get me, I mean, so violent, I'll tell you what, if I would have killed somebody when they called me that term.
And it's good not to forget those things that really triggered you.
Yep.
To resent stuff, right?
Yep. So basically, I tried to take the power away from that. Now, I'm definitely never gonna forget what it did. I would never call anybody that name, but I'm taking the power away from that word. And that song was actually inspired by Johnny Cash, the man in black, because I have found out that, you know, Johnny Cash had compassion for prisoners. He had compassion for the oppressed and compassion for the poor, and that was exactly what I was trying to transform myself into. So when I was turned on to that song, The Man in Black, I took some of his lyrics and I meshed them with mine because I was definitely on the same page with him, and plus he had passed, so I figured this is a good way also to keep his, you know, his legacy alive, that he cared about these people, you know, and he cared about prisoners and he cared about the oppressed. So that's how that song came about. I speak for every prisoner that's buried in an unmarked grave, for every prisoner that's waiting to be murdered by the state, for every prisoner that's being worked like a slave, for every one of my brothers and sisters working for minimum wage, for every child locked up in a cage. Man, I will fight to the grave. I'll pump my mic like a 12 gauge while cowards let their own blood die in a cage. Forget that, I go out like Jonathan Jackson back in the days. Man, since 9/11, I've seen the new wave, mass incarceration, prison privatization. Man, our own president holds stock in private prison corporations. Then we wonder why terrorists wage war on our nation. Heavy police occupations got us all under surveillance. Masses blind to the fact, sedated our medications. We need organization and affirmative action. Before they attack us, get up and attack them. Imagine being 18, head full of dreams. Man, everything seems to be going according to plan. You graduated high school at the head of your class with a full college scholarship, thinking you made it at last. A regular Sunday mass till you started following the masses, living life fast like you had easy access, living just like every other bastard, haphazard, walking around half plastered, praying to God and knowing Satan's really your master, walking half a step away from total disaster. Then in a flash, your life gets to its final chapter. You can almost hear Lucifer's laughter echoing from the hereafter, cause now you're captured, waiting to be murdered in cold blood by your captors. Your life up until this point doesn't really matter. They're prepared to hook you up to a chemical reactor, sitting on the road. It's almost time to go. Now you know the whole entire world is cold. You're born alone, to die all alone. Now you're nothing but a number, 999330. It's time the whole world knows that justice doesn't exist. And we're all doomed if you don't stand up to resist. Jesus knows no one deserves to die like this. This is not God's will. This is politics. That song there is dedicated to my man Anthony Haynes, who's sitting on death row in Texas.